This from friend of the Ramble, Dead Fox, brackets in the box, on Discord. A very topical one, Luke.
Yeah.
Where on the all-time catastrophic appointments does Ange Postecoglou to Nottingham Forest rank? Ooh.
I mean, it's up there.
It is up there.
It's absolutely up there, isn't it? It has to be. If you look at the list of the managers that have been around for not very long, for want of a better phrase, in terms of days in charge, as you mentioned yesterday, Marcus, Sam Allardyce came in there very specifically to do a job.
Yeah, so not a sacking.
At Leeds.
Shearer, Newcastle.
Shearer's
again, though.
I don't think Shearer was a permanent appointment. I don't think it counts.
Right, it doesn't count. Right. Oh,
I think he was. Was it 8 Premier League games?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has to. Yeah. It's not these sort of little ones and interims and so on.
And you have to go back quite a long way to get someone that's anywhere near what Ange has just been through, which is Les Reed at Charlton.
Yeah.
Remember Les Reed at Charlton?
I really had to rack my brains, but yes, I could.
But the reason Les Reed is in there, though, is because he was assistant manager to the manager for a while. Then the manager loses his job. He comes in and just gets given the nod. And he lasts 7 Premier League games before they replace him. It's at Charlton with, was it Alan Pardew? Might have been Alan Pardew.
Could have been Pardew, maybe.
Yeah. And so it's pretty difficult to really ascertain who's worse. But having said that, Les Reed got 4 times the amount of points that Ange did. So I mean, it's not great reading for Big Ange. I would say he's in the top 1,
and it's his only job he had, managerial as a number 1.
Les Reed it is, yeah.
Yeah, so you can stick the boot on Ange. I immediately thought of Frank de Boer at Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
with all this sort of
that's
stuff.
4 Premier League games, wasn't it?
Because de Boer, it was a funny situation because at Ajax he looked pretty good as manager. Obviously, very impressive playing career. But at Ajax, I remember him, people saying, this guy could go on to be top manager in Europe. And he gets the Inter job. And at Inter, he didn't last very long at all. And one can sort of say, oh, well, was that a bad appointment? What was going on at the club? Obviously, it's a bit further away. So you're kind of thinking, okay, fine, we'll let that go. He said he needed more time and all that kind of stuff, as you'd expect. Then he was announced as manager of Crystal Palace, replacing Sam Allardyce. And Palace were in that situation where...
Yo-yo.
Yeah, they'd been up and down a bit, and they had gone for your sort of traditional British manager, if you like, and it not quite worked out. Allardyce had turned things round there, to Allardyce's credit, but they wanted to be a little bit more maybe expansive in the football. And I know Allardyce hates it when people kind of say that, but I think we all know what they were getting at there.
This is exactly the same situation at Forest, you would suggest. They wanted to play better football.
Possibly, but the way Nuno left, it was a bit more of a funnier situation. But maybe that was what Marinakis was thinking, and the fact that Postecoglou speaks Greek. So...
Does Frank de Boer speak Greek?
I don't think so.
I think when a manager's had such a great career as Frank de Boer had, you do sort of think, oh well, he's probably got bigger fish to fry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that, you go, what's he going to do?
No.
He's just a manager.
Well, but De Boer only had, I think you mentioned earlier there, Luke, he had 4 games. So that's the shortest reign in Premier League
I think
terms.
it was 7 games in total from memory.
Right.
Yeah. 4 Premier League games.
Did he get a Carlin? Did he get a Carlin Cup in there?
He might have done,
It might, yeah. Was it a Worthington Cup? No, it certainly wasn't back in those days.
But it was the worst start to a top flight season in, I think, almost 100 years. Because they didn't score a goal either.
Yes, that's right. They lost the first football match. It was the first team in 93 years to have become a top flight
93 is almost
season.
100.
Yeah. Give us a letter, Charles.
If I said to you, if I said to you, you've achieved 93 out of 100, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
I mean, you can
pretty close to the top.
For a pedant, he's not doing very well on this one. He wouldn't allow anybody else to have this. I'm not having it.
What do you think? Is 93 nearly 100?
That wasn't the question, was it?
The
question is nearly 100. Yes, I am. Yeah.
All right, name a handful of numbers closer to 100.
I'm going to go for 99, please, Marcus.
There you go.
Name 92 numbers further away from 100.
Hey, I'll have a 93 and a flake, okay? Right, anyway. So, De Boer, it was a bad start.
Well, the only thing that kept De Boer going, as we know, the only thing that kept De Boer going for as long as he had at Crystal Palace was the unrivaled and completely bulletproof support of Jose Mourinho. who was very helpful by asking.
that's right.
I think because obviously he was manager where he was manager at the time, as called him the worst manager in the history of the Premier League.
Cheers, Joes.
That's what you need, though, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's exactly what you need.
Nice. It's good to see that the community of managers
Yeah.
rallying around
managers'
each other.
Oh my
union.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, like you hear like managers on the match of the day sofa like these days saying, we never want to see a manager lose their job. Jose's like that.
Yeah.
Biting his fingernails, picking a toothpick. Worst manager in the history of the Premier League. Hates him.
Next question.
Absolutely hates him.
Yeah, so-
Is there
but-
also an element
but
of
do you
Mourinho
remember-
that he hates him because he was such a good player as well, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a player.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
but goodness knows.
But you're right to point out that
Who was he replaced by?
Big Roy.
Big Roy.
Let's get that lovely, comfortable English sweater back on, shall we? Thanks very much.
But
be
that,
safe
but
now.
that was like, but it was so strange at Palace. The reason why I think that one to me is the most catastrophic because of all the stats.
Because that was a permanent appointment. They were
Yeah.
excited about it. It came, as you right to say, talking about Ange, difference between that and Ange was that he came in,
Yep.
they chose him. They
Yes.
wanted him because
Yes.
Allardyce had run his course or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was
being more expansive to Frank de Boer's or not. But, no sooner did he touch down. Oh no, back to Roy.
but
De Boer to Boy.
There you go.
But De Boer did say that he did the interviews and he came in and he was excited to take the job and they knew what they were hiring. And then they refused to sign any of the players that he wanted. He only got two players, I think. One of them, from memory, was Jaro Rijderveld,
Right.
who obviously stayed there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But none of the players were used to playing in the way he wanted to play. So it does seem like, in a way, almost the same way that we can play. We say it's not entirely Postecoglou's fault that he's not been successful at Forest for all these different reasons. Clearly, there's many different reasons why a manager doesn't succeed.
yeah, of course.
Wilfred Zaha himself even said, we just didn't have the players to play how he wanted to play. So obviously he takes a decision, but at the same time he needs to be back.
Yeah,
right?
but some managers just fit, and Dutch football's a funny one because I say Ajax did pretty well there. Hence him getting the Inter job. I mean, he won in his he was about there for about 6 years. He won the Eredivisie 4 times. So it shows you that they were turning heads. But then Inter, he was there for a very short period of time. Palace there for a very short period of time. Then he goes to Atalanta United, then Netherlands, then Al Jazeera, and that's it really. And again, when he's
I remember with the Netherlands job, they
but he wasn't there very long. So when he's in the thick
it was
of it,
Euro
Ajax-
2020, wasn't it?
Yes, and they were undone by Czechia,
Republic.
I think, in the
Yeah,
quarterfinals.
yeah,
Because he couldn't sign any players.
Couldn't sign any players.
They wouldn't sign any players for him.
He couldn't get Wilfred Zaha in. So it's always funny, isn't it? I mean, the greatest example of Dutch managers for me in needing to go to a job where their face fitted was the curious case of Frank Rijkaard's managerial career. Like, basically gets Barcelona back to where they were.
Wins the Champions League with them.
It wins the Champions League, lays the groundwork really for Guardiola to come in.
By which you mean Guardiola had to come in and get rid of every single person who wouldn't stop partying at the club and start again.
Yeah, so before the right, there's
They're like professional footballers.
I do need to stipulate.
I've set the foundations for you to a lovely, quiet home.
before the booze, right? It was going really well.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were but in terms of the playing style, in terms of everything, like he brought Messi. Hang on, as I'm saying that, did he? He certainly gave Messi time in the first team.
Yeah.
Guardiola definitely needed to come in and save Messi, specifically from Ronaldinho. Ronaldo as well. So yes,
He just tried to drink him.
It was a bit of a mess towards the end, of course, but the style of football. But elsewhere in his managerial career, he started off at Netherlands, Sparta Rotterdam. Like it was. I mean, he resigned after their relegation. Okay, that's how bad it was. If you get Sparta Rotterdam relegated, you know.
Just take a couple of years out, I would say.
You don't expect to get the Barcelona job after that.
You do if you're Dutch, and you tell Barcelona
This
that
is
you
what I mean.
once had a coffee of Rinus Michels, and so you know
What to
exactly
do with
what it's
salt
all
and
about.
pepper.
Yeah, exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, true.
If you've got the Barcelona DNA,
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a serial killer and still get a job.
True. And then after Barcelona, Galatasaray, he signs a 2-year contract, and they're thinking, bloody hell, I know it ended, but we've a bit of a coup here. He was sacked, not long after that, etc. So yeah, I think maybe it's something to do with maybe it's Dutchman.
But a lot of these jobs you're talking about,
Yeah.
Galatasaray, to an extent, Inter, for De Boer. they don't muck about, do they? They do fire managers on a
They
whim
don't muck
sometimes.
about. They don't.
And
Muck
I think
about.
also you've not mentioned that Frank Rijkaard also spat in Rudy Voller's afro.
Come on,
And
that was in 1990 when he was a player.
They had to look past that to give him the
Get him
job.
the job.
Catastrophic appointments though. Roy Hodgson to Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that went on a lot longer than.
Yeah, but the length of time is obviously indicative. Hence, we mentioned De Boer there. But Hodgson to Liverpool they wanted Dalglish, who would obviously take over from Roy Hodgson. It was a funny time with Liverpool, but Hodgson.
Well, big Phil Scolari at Chelsea. That's a good one.
But at least with Scolari, I mean, everyone, obviously a World Cup winner and came with a big reputation. But I think Hodgson to Liverpool, I look back at that and I was like, he was on a hiding to nothing because his style of play was very good for a certain type of club in a certain sort of, if you like, position that they're expected to kind of aim for or finish up. It was never going to work at Liverpool.
Tony Adams at Portsmouth. That was in the Premier League.
Was that a catastrophic appointment?
I think he got 15 games ish, something like that.
Well, he went to Granada, did that little dance, and then
the dance!
That's a great gift. That one of my favourite gifts.
Didn't he lose all 7 or 8?
Lost all 7 games in charge.
It was just not great, not ideal.
If we're talking about Englishmen in Spain, Gary Neville to Valencia. Come on!
David Moyes not having a crisp.
No, but at least Moyes is a manager. Gary Neville to Valencia.
Phil Neville to anywhere.
Hey, leave off.
The thing you
Gary
always say,
Neville to Valencia.
The thing you always say about Gary Neville at Valencia, which is funny, is when Sky Sports went over there and filmed him introduce himself to the players in the dressing room.
Yeah, right.
And he's not even bothered to go like.
He's not even done a McLaren, has he?
No. He just goes, all right, hang in, all right.
But like, what?
All right.
What else is he?
Yeah.
I mean,
He said that.
Hola.
He said that Gary Neville subsequently said that in a game against Barcelona, who were managed by Luis Enrique at the time, I think.
they won 7-0?
Yeah, he said Luis Enrique. He thinks this is Gary Neville's words.
Yeah, he did say this recently.
That Luis Enrique was so like ashamed to be managing against.
I think disgusted.
Yeah, he refused to shake his hand.
No, but but he also felt like Luis Enrique, and I'm sure other managers would have felt this, that when they were playing them, and it's like, how dare you stand opposite me?
Right.
We're going to show you that this is big boy stuff, and we're going to tear your team apart.
Do you think that if Gary Neville had been a player that played in an advanced position compared to where he was, or just had a bit more razzle-dazzle about him, he may have succeeded, or turned 2 of those losses into wins.
I don't think it's got any effect on it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But if you're walking in with no portfolio, no history rather, and basically going, I'm here because I played for Manchester United for a long time.
Well, that's not why he's there. The reason he's there,
little bit of a
he was there.
There's that as well. Yes.
The reason he's there is because he was mates with Peter Lim.
Yeah, so
well.
But there's only reason why he would choose him over one of his golfing mates. Do you know what I mean?
When you say he's there because he played for
He's
Manchester
done his
United,
badges,
it's worse
presumably.
than that.
Yeah,
it's genuinely
it's
worse
not
than that.
Has he done his badges?
Well, no, he
Probably.
has, because he was in the. I assume he has. He was in
He's
the
England,
coaching
wasn't he? Yeah.
setup at Roy Hodgson's England. Another one.
Lot of England. There's a few Englands in there.
There is it. Well, Sam Allardyce at England.
Yeah.
You know, FA's hands were tied.
Yeah.
Sam Handkerchief face.
There you go. But yeah, I think Neville, in terms of a catastrophic appointment, because again, like Ange Postecoglou is a manager. Like whatever you thought of the appointment, you can sort of say, I don't agree with it because of the tactics, because of this. With Neville, it was like, I mean, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Like it should. And I remember at the time going, oh, this is, I think it was however long ago it was, and you were thinking to yourself, oh, is he going to analyse his way to success on this? But
Analyse a few losses.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yes. All right, well, picking up on that, Real Mike Morton on Instagram asks, should Evangelos Marinakis dig deep into the 90s and get Mr Blobby in to run Forest?
How's this made it in?
I mean,
to be fair, it's not massively different to Postecoglou.
not massively distant to Daesh. Come
Him
on.
piling in, just knocking everything over.
Couple of spots on him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Doing a bunch of...
Blobby.
Was that Blobby as Ange?
Blobby. That's Blobby.
Do it as Ange.
Blobby, mate.
Explain to people who may not know who Mr. Blobby is.
He is a psychotic alien, pink alien, a very fat man in a suit who would go around knocking things over on light entertainment shows.
Is he definitely an alien?
Where are you getting Mr. Blobby from if he's not an alien?
I'm just asking if he was an alien or not.
Come on now.
What planet
Well,
is he
the
from?
female Mr Blobby can have 2 fathers in one womb, as discussed on the main show yesterday.
Yeah.
In Rats.
Was he an alien? That's,
an
that's
alien.
your,
Yeah.
Well, I was reading
that's your
up-
problem with
Yeah.
it. I thought Pete did that really well.
I was reading up on it because apparently the old premise of this, which I didn't realise, was that he started out in a hidden camera type show where he was presented to different celebrities
Oh, yeah, it was Noel Edmonds' is
pretending that he was an established children's character.
Yes.
And they all knew who he was.
Right.
So I see.
And so then he would just start just doing weirder and weirder shit. And then it
Yes.
basically descended into a Noel's house party, him just tearing into the room
Yeah,
and breaking
right.
everything.
Do you know
Which is a
what?
bit like Ange.
I saw that. You know that. You know that clip of the Australian man getting manhandled into a police car out of presumably a Chinese restaurant. Get your
Yeah.
hands off my penis.
Yeah.
That guy. I thought he doesn't look like Ange.
He
but
doesn't look dissimilar to
No,
Ange.
yeah, he's a bit democracy
And I thought,
manifest.
yeah. And I thought to myself, what should Ange do right now? He should go back to Australia for a succulent Chinese meal. Get your hands off of my Europa League winners medal.
You know, Jim's always after the most 90s thing to ever happen.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put this one out there
Go on.
very quickly before we move on. Mr. Blobby breaking into the house on Keeping Up Appearances and trashing Hyacinth Bucket's kitchen.
Oh,
That's
right,
quite
yeah.
90s.
I thought
That's
Keeping
pretty
Up
That
90s.
feels comic relief
I thought
to
Keeping
me.
Up
Probably
Appearances
is, yeah.
was more 80s.
Maybe.
No.
Either way, Hyacinth died a couple of weeks ago.
Gee.
Rest in peace.
She did actually,
yeah.
yeah. 1990 to 1995.
Well, I stand correct, as I often do. Coming up after this, will we ever see a footballer in suspenders?
Welcome back, everyone. Here's an email from Greg, our friend Greg.
Go on, Grego.
I mean, it's absolutely delighted, I'm sure, that this question is after Mr. Blobby in the running order.
Yeah.
What do you think of the player protest in Spain? And what does it say about the future of domestic league games abroad? Will players and fans unite over this issue, or will the club owners and broadcasters just get what they want in the end?
Will
Number three-
Crinkly Bottom host a game?
Yeah, it's going to be a Serie A game at Crinkly Bottom. Noel's the ref. Who's that at the door? Not now, the game's on. Before we answer this,
Carlson on the VAR.
Dave Lee Travis on the VAR,
There
the
you
Henry
go.
Cornflake. Before we answer this with the respect it deserves,
It
a couple
does.
of bits more of information here. Players across the Liga stood still for the first 15 seconds of each game at the weekend in protest of the league's decision to play a league game between Barcelona and Villarreal in Miami in December. The TV cameras, the snivelling little slugs.
Oh, this is poor.
Yeah, they cut away from the protest,
Piss off.
either showing a distant shot of the stadium from the outside or a close-up of the centre circle.
That's
So we know what side they're on, don't
Yeah,
we?
right.
Yeah, I wonder
Not
why
the
that's happening.
Bronze, clearly.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of this. That is a proper protest.
I mean, we can't get blooming, armbands on our captains. Never mind,
should have nipped in and scored.
Should
Should have nipped in and scored.
Just a quick
blasted it.
Quick one, yeah.
Keep us off his
Yeah.
line.
No, I'm scoring because I love playing games at home so much.
What a little
Yeah.
break the picket line.
Yeah.
I mean, this was Nirvana playing the first sort of few bars of a song they weren't scheduled to play,
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I honestly really do respect what the players did here. When I first read it, I thought the first 15 minutes.
No.
15 seconds. Okay, you got to start
I think
somewhere.
it was 15 minutes. It would have been a massive story.
Oh, it would have been
massive.
ginormous.
But the bad thing about it, Marcus, is just that
do you not respect the players doing that?
I do. But what I do think it shows is how ridiculous and unthought through
Yeah.
the whole thing is anyway.
Well, yeah,
because you think at some point when they cut this deal with whoever it is,
The teams that are going to have to travel there.
yeah, have you got the players on board then?
They'll be fine.
Yeah, they won't remember.
Who cares?
Yeah, let's just tell them it's another away game.
Yeah.
Be fine. So
The king and queen don't talk to the pawns. You know.
the players clearly aren't on board with it. So it is an interesting
yeah.
development, and I wonder whether it will actually survive. And don't forget, the whole background to this, as we said a week or two ago, is that UEFA are saying they're against this. They're just saying they can't legally stop
They've
it.
reluctantly let it happen.
Sure, and
without
they're hoping
pushing
for
back.
more legislation to come in to stop it happening in the future. And they're seeing it as a kind of outlier. But if the players don't want to do it,
Yeah.
that is really tricky, because what's going to happen, possibly, I suppose, is when December ticks around, maybe the players aren't going to go. And then what's going to happen?
Well, I mean,
Yeah. What, you
They have
just...
to send a youth team or something.
down tills that big. That's even more spicy, isn't it? Really, I suppose. But how have they kind of negotiated this quite well organised kind of protest? Like, how do you even
so it was the players
union?
Players
or
union. I
Players
forget the
union?
actual.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just incredible. As I say, I really respect the fact that they've come together, the players. And that is such a strong thing for the first. People might say it was only 15 seconds, but just think about that.
Oh,
that is a scene you will have never ever seen. Like even if someone took centre and someone just stood on the ball for a second or two, that would be quite eye catching. So the players have made their points very clear because obviously Barcelona and Villarreal, as you mentioned, Luke, in December, are apparently off to Miami to play a game. By the way, if you think that's bad enough, and it is bad enough, in February, I think it is. AC Milan and Como are due to go to, and that's not Perth in Scotland. That's not Perthshire.
No.
But,
No.
Which I'd be on board
The
with that.
jewel in the Scotland crown.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to Perth, Australia.
Yeah.
That seems like if you're going to test the fences, don't go to Australia.
Yeah. Let's go the furthest away we can.
Yeah.
The next one was a bit closer. They'll be happy with that.
Have a nice, money-rich tour to Baku or something. Like, don't do there.
Come on, it's West Coast Australia. It's not easy. We're not taking the piss.
Do it non-stop these days.
Yeah, right.
I do think
It's stunning.
if this is the sign of things to come, it will be super interesting in December to see if these players actually want to go, because the reason that Serie A and La Liga want to do it is because they want to try and become as successful as an export as the Premier League has been,
exactly.
which is not going to happen, but they could try and get a little bit further, closer to them, I suppose, by doing this kind of thing. But clearly the fans are against it. Clearly it's against everything that a domestic league is actually for. And if you end up having to take, because if you end up committing to it, announcing it, having to do it, but then the players refuse to travel, you as a club, you haven't really got that much leverage, because you're going to have to take a youth team or something, which defeats the object of going.
Well, they're
not going to sack the players.
Well, they'd be sanctioned. They would be. I mean, I'd imagine
sanctioned because of it would make the league less competitive, wouldn't it? I suppose.
Well, yeah, they would be punished. Yeah, because I mean, because if any side, say in a league fixture, like quite clearly played, that's why when you get those ones where
like dead rubbers at the end of the season where they're planning for like a Champions League final or something like that.
Yeah, but
less so.
well,
The quality's always there, I
any
suppose.
Serie B game from about March onwards.
But even FA Cup ties, when a team plays a lot of youth players, which is quite rare, but I think Man City did it when they went to Chelsea a number of years ago, and there were people going, "Hang on a minute, integrity of the competition."
Mick McCarthy got fined for it.
Yes, he did.
Wolves.
The thing is that what you said there, though, with the with the chat about La Liga, and you said they want to kind of get as
close to the Premier League
as close to the Premier League, which is why that was the stupidity of those English sides: Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea. Maybe I've missed one as well. When they went and signed up for the Super League, it's like the Premier League is the de facto Super League. You absolute idiots.
Yeah.
And you're right. And this is quite. I'd go as far to say it's quite sad to see that a very, very historied, a brilliant league like La Liga, one of the best in the world, for quality, some might argue the best, is doing this kind of sort of desperate thing. Serie A as well as we've mentioned. I think it's a disgrace.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that the TV camera's cutting away, as you say, Luke. I mean, that just tells you where they are. I really hope the players put their foot down and say we're not having it, because I mean Hansi Flick, Barcelona coach, said the players are not happy. He's not happy. He said the Liga have basically not consulted them. They're going to do it anyway. I did find it mildly amusing. Barcelona president Juan Laporta, who would have been very keen on the Super League, of course, said the match will be definitely a great show. Nice one. You've really caught the tone of everyone else at your football club, mate.
Also, and that's probably the kicker, because I suppose the buck ultimately stops with him. But Barcelona have got they're in a kind of unique position, because if Villarreal refuse to do it, they'll get hammered.
Yeah.
If Barcelona refuse to do it, that'll be a big thing.
Yeah, everyone has to be on board, which is why when they did that protest for the first 15 seconds, I was actually really impressed with that and thought that's good, because some of the teams, including Barcelona themselves, had not been asked by the Association of Spanish Footballers to participate in this protest, but they did it anyway.
Yeah.
Which shows you, again, the support they have across the board.
I think that what can happen, though, is that players can be pretty good at protesting when the stakes are low, and when it comes to the crunch, they tend to back down a bit. It happened in the Qatar World Cup with the England players.
That's a little bit different, though, because I know what you're saying. But
I don't think it is different, because I think the litmus test here will be if they refuse to go, because that's a proper protest.
Yes.
This is a bit more. I'm not saying it's not good, and I think it's a great step along the way, but I think it doesn't mean an awful lot if they all just go anyway.
I agree with you, but I think this is different enough for players to do that, because when the Club World Cup happened and Ancelotti said, I think it's a load of nonsense, when he was Real Madrid manager, they were always going to turn up.
That was another great moment. It's another great example because players were saying, when Rodri was saying that for ages, loads of players were saying that. They all went anyway. My point being, players are good at staying this sort of stuff, and then but then they back down.
Yeah, indeed. Well, more power to them, and let's hope that they do something with the power that they have.
We got a message, Marcus, from Stuart on Blue Sky.
Something as equally as serious, I hope.
It's better be impactful, Pete, this one. I want this to make sure this is a proper chat about what everyone's talking about in football at the moment.
It's a heavy, heavy subject. Stuart from Blue Sky, on Blue Sky rather, I don't know whether he owns it, with shorts getting shorter and players wearing their socks higher and higher over their knees, can you envisage a time in the future where you'll see a Premier League player wearing a suspender belt instead of shorts, with the little straps holding up the thigh-high socks?
Yeah, really catching the zeitgeist there, Stewie.
Catching my sexual interests, clearly.
Would it undermine the protest that they were doing in La Liga if they were wearing suspenders?
Some lovely...
Like a Monty Python type protest.
It would get more worldwide attention, I'm sure.
I think it would.
I think men's sock suspenders are more functional, but it still looks a little bit kinky.
And footballers used to wear sock ties as well.
Could we see like an all-body kind of, I'm thinking... cycling obviously would be shorts and top, but that kind of real skin tight. But like I don't like the luge or something, or bobsleigh or that kind of thing, or that old thing. But the colours looks like a football kit, so it looks like the shorts and so on.
Cameroon did something similar to that.
Cameroon
they did all-in-ones, didn't they? They did a big sort of singlet.
They had sleeveless, and they also had an all-in-one.
Sleeveless, sleeveless was not allowed.
They also had an all-in-one at one point.
You're right, so it's already been done.
Yeah, I would also say that I don't think shorts are getting shorter all the time, Stuart. I think you might have imagined that. There's no way they're nowhere near as short as they were in the 80s.
Nah, nowhere near. Even in the 90s, like the start of the 90s, they got
really baggy.
Yeah, and
now
now
they've kind of reverted to medium now.
Well, players often roll their shorts up, don't they?
Right.
Which is quite odd.
Let's have jorts. Let's have some lovely jorts. Or maybe like cargo shorts, the way you keep tools and things in there.
What would you keep in there?
Little measuring ruler.
Little measuring ruler.
Bit of electrical tape.
Look, ref, they're not 10 yards back. I've done my own measurement.
A pencil.
Electrical tape.
Yeah.
You're going to kidnap someone. Kidnap a player.
Electrical tape.
To answer the question directly, Peter, though, could you see a Premier League player wearing a suspender belt instead of shorts with the little straps holding up the thigh-high
I can see whatever
socks?
my AI-like brain can tell me. So yeah, maybe. I mean, like it would be a departure, Marcus.
Yeah.
I could see certain members of the Crystal Palace squad having a problem with it, and yeah, I can't see it happening, but I could see it happening if there was a sponsor involved.
Yeah,
all right.
Like when Nicky Bentner did his pants.
That's right,
didn't he?
Yes.
Paddy Power pants.
Paddy Power pants.
There we are. Coming up after this, can Erling Haaland break Alan Shearer's record? Welcome back to the Mailbag, everybody. Right, we've got a question from friend of the Ramble, Our Bull, on Discord. Will Erling Haaland break the English top-flight goal-scoring record as opposed to just the Premier League one? Alan Shearer, of course, is the Premier League record goal scorer with 260 goals, whereas the top-flight record belongs to Mr Jimmy Greaves with 357 goals. Erling Haaland currently has 96 Premier League goals. So, Pete Donaldson, can he do it?
I don't think he really cares about any of this. He doesn't care about human trifles. I think he'll be off to Real Madrid as soon as look at Man City's 100 and odd legal challenges. And so I think I think he'll leave before it happens.
I think you're right. It depends on whether Haaland sticks around. If he does, I think that he'll definitely get Shearer's record. Whereas I think Greaves' record is safe. I can't. 357. Say it again, man. Look, what do you think?
I think Pete's spot on. I think he will move on before too long. I've heard certain journalists. In fact, it might have been our friend Lars who wrote the book about Haaland, literally saying that he's got a pretty well planned out career where he doesn't want to stay somewhere too long.
Right.
But then, who knows? I mean, Guardiola didn't want to stay at Man City that long. We were led to believe at the start of his managerial tenure there, and he's still there. So things can change, obviously. For me, though, although I agree with Pete, it's not necessarily just about that. What I think it's also about is when we look at these records and we try and project and we try and think about how many goals people are going to score or how many appearances or the rest of it, it's not just about whether they move on, it's about their fitness and it's about the miles on the clock. And it's because you do find some players If you, I haven't
Or
got-
Shearer himself.
Well, yeah, well, Shearer was even more remarkable in a way because he had like a couple of really bad injuries.
Yeah.
And he still managed to
And it's changed the way he played a little bit because of that.
He had
first
no
big
knee
one.
for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The
He would
classic-
have scored a lot more.
The classic example would be someone like Michael Owen,
Mm.
who started so early. People got really excited about how good a finisher he was and how quick he was. He never really scored that many goals for a player of his position. And his body let him down so much that he was done. Like Wayne Rooney as well. Wayne Rooney was done really early because the miles on the clock and the body couldn't stand up to it. So Haaland does have the kind of appearance of a cyborg.
Yeah.
And I think we're just led to makes us believe that he's just unstoppable. And he may well be. He might be. But
He's had his injuries this season.
he's not going to. Yeah, he's not
going
going
last season.
But he's not going to be unstoppable forever. And I think to get another 160 odd goals or whatever it is. That's a big effort.
Yeah.
And you've got to stay around and you've got to always be pick and you've got to stay fit and you've got to not move anywhere else. I just think there's too many variables for it to happen. And also these days, players move to different countries a lot more now. Like Shearer, if Shearer was around now, there's a chance he might do what Kane did.
Float around, yeah.
So
Might got to buy in. He we sort of think of him, like you say, as a machine. But I think he could do, because he's a bit of a troll online and stuff. He likes to give people a bit of needle. He's quite opinionated. I could see him sacking it in at 29, like Eric Cantona or something.
yeah, I don't think that's a terrible thing but terrible.
He'll have made all his money.
What are you going to do?
Let's get on with
Chop
it.
down trees and play computer games?
Yeah.
Might be yours.
Yeah.
Look, I think the question is if he stays in the English top flight. Because if he does, I think he'd have a great chance.
What do you think about the injuries idea though, and the fact that he's played so much football already, and he's only 25?
Yeah, that does come into it. But Shearer had his injuries as well, and still managed to clock that amount up. I think that I think if you're sitting here, he's the only person I think that you would say. Harry Kane was obviously the other one. Even if Harry Kane had stayed and not gone to the Bundesliga, you can't under 260 goals.
You get the feeling that Kane's going to be a long time retired, though. I think it's going to hit him quite hard when he stops playing football.
Yeah, but Kane at the age of 32 is he? He's playing the best football of his career, and that's been helped maybe by going to the Bundesliga, where there's just a fewer. 4 or however many games fewer a season and so on.
By the way, I don't think he is playing the best football of his career. I think he's scoring the most goals of his career. I don't think he's playing the best football of his
So
career.
you disagree with the man himself then?
It's all. Obviously he's going to say that.
Why?
Why wouldn't you say that?
I'm rubbish and I'm still knocking him in terrible league.
Just when he wins his medal. Well, you better at Spurs, mate. Bloody hell.
So he's got 213 Premier League goals, right?
Yeah.
So even then, if he's going to do this season at the Bundesliga clearly, he's going to have another World Cup under his belt. Even then, even if he left next summer to go back to the Premier League, I still don't think it's cut and dried.
It's still a tall order. Just because over 200, you can think, you've got it's still a long way to go.
He's got to get 48 to beat the record. So he's got to get 2 24-goal seasons.
I think if he'd have stayed at Spurs, he would have been on for it. I don't think anybody would have argued that, but I think him going to Germany was a better move. But anyway, we're not talking about that. Peter, you've got the last question.
I do have the last question. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
From friend of the Ramble, Moon on Discord. South American and Spanish players always seem to get great nicknames that celebrate either their talent or their playing style. El Fenomeno in Ronaldo, La Pulga, which is Lionel Messi, of course. El Jefecito, the little chief, Javier Mascherano, the Emperor, Adriano, and one of my favourites, El Tractor for Javier Zanetti.
The Emperor is brilliant. I love the Emperor.
I do like the
And
Emperor.
obviously, La Pulga is it La Pulga, which is the flea, isn't it? From
Right.
Messi?
Okay, yeah, right. Well, he basically goes on to say, Moon does, I'm not sure their sex. Meanwhile, in England, the best we get is Gazawaza or names like Slabhead, One Size Fits All, or Dave, because Azpilicueta's name was too hard to pronounce. Should we be more like our Latin cousins and start giving players more positive nicknames, or do you prefer our more piss turkey style? And most importantly, what's your favourite ever player nickname? Marcus.
Hi. I would like to. I didn't know this, but when I had a little glance at the internet when I saw this question,
Yes.
do you remember the Brazilian footballer Wagner Love?
I do, of course.
He
Took
was
an
the-
anti-tank gun to a party.
Now you're talking.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's big time, isn't it?
Anti-tank gun to a house party.
Make
Why-
love,
why-
not war.
Yeah. Why have you brought that? No one said there wouldn't be any tanks here.
I brought an anti-tank gun. I thought it was a cocktail. I thought it was a name of a cocktail.
We specifically
it
said
away.
pro tank
Yeah.
guns.
You might be fit in the cloakroom.
I smelt a tank. Well, anyway, his name is not Wagner Love. I always thought it was.
Oh.
But apparently he got the nickname. Well, Wagner, yes, but he got the nickname Love because of his playboy lifestyle.
Yes.
I thought, yeah, that's funny.
Life imitating art.
Yeah, you remember when he was in the?
X Factor.
I don't, but I wish I did.
Wagner was in the X Factor.
Yeah.
Famously.
He was like a sexy kind of Tony Frino kind of guy. He's a
Sexy.
sexy,
Very
older. Is
sexy.
he Greek or
Do you
something?
find him sexy?
I do a little bit, yeah. He's doing all the right things. He's got on his shirt up to his navel. He's got a lot of body hair.
Yeah.
Lovely
Yeah.
moustache and a mane of Peter Stringfellow style hair. What more do you want?
Was he definitely Greek?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Have another guess at his nationality.
Oh, somewhere in the Balkans. I
You
don't
should have
know.
gone Greek Cypriot there.
He was Brazilian.
Okay.
Brazilian, right?
He
okay,
was
nice.
Brazilian.
Right.
I mean,
How
it's
many
already
games
been
does he play
mentioned. It's true. It's already been mentioned. I do like Slavhead.
Did Vardy give him that?
I think
Vardy,
he
yeah.
certainly
And he
mentioned
didn't like it.
Well, he scored one.
I
on the
remember one
weekend.
tournament when we were covering England.
2018.
You found out that he didn't like being called Slabhead, and you tried to stop us calling him it.
Did I?
Yeah,
Didn't he?
yeah.
Oh, well, I've got to row all the way back then.
Yeah.
So
So
I
now
hate
you
that
like
one.
it.
No, I
Is
hate
it
that
Part of your
one.
anti-bullying campaign, but only for one footballer.
Harry Maguire and his
Yeah.
lovely head.
Well, he was
Lovely
bullied
head.
for a bit, and he's shown everyone once again that he's a man
Once
that
again
you
this
should be
weekend.
trifled with.
Yeah.
What a great week to talk about him.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
say.
Scored it with his massive slabby head.
Kevin Keegan, Mighty Mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
rubbish,
nice.
isn't it? It's rubbish.
Yeah.
Is it rubbish?
Yeah, I
Very
think
1970s.
moves
We're
on
not
something
good at
here.
we're not good at nicknames.
No, we're not.
We're not a nicknamey culture.
No,
No.
and I think,
And nor should we be.
and I think in Brazil, it's nicknames are a thing.
Yes.
You know, the kind of storytelling culture is much more different. It's very different to the kind of written down culture we have here.
We're too stuffy.
I think we are. I think we absolutely are.
So yeah, I mean, you know what it's like if people are a bit too stuffy, if they try and be more like the kind of the sort of cooler or better or more exciting
probably
thing,
wouldn't work, would it?
you just become you move from stuffy to pratty.
Yeah.
which are very close, of course.
Absolutely.
And so I think we should stay well
It'd
away.
be
But my
wacky,
favourite
yeah.
ever player nickname, John Terry, JT.
That's what it says in the tin. Thomas Vermaelen, the Verminator.
The Verminat's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Das Phantom, Roy Mackay, the Ghost.
Yeah. Jonathan Woodgate was the ghost as
Roy
well.
Mackay,
He was,
great
yeah,
striker,
yeah,
by
yeah.
the way.
Yeah, he was.
Fabulous player.
De Tovenard van Tatabaya, the Wizard of Tatabanya, Joseph Kiprich, and shit Gary Neville, Phil Neville.
Nice one. Do you remember? Well, you won't remember, but we're aware of one of the finest goal scorers in the history of football, Gerd Muller,
Yeah. The Bomber.
the bomber.
The bomber.
And I thought to myself, it was not enough time had passed.
No.
No.
Yeah.
You know.
Are we allowing them now?
Emilio Brits-Regueño, the Vulture.
Oh, the Vulture. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to say the Butcher
But
of
go-
Bilbao, but that was Goy Chair.
But going back to the nicknames here in this country.
What about
and
Maradona, the fluff?
The culture. Like Michael Heseltine. Yeah.
Oh, we're into politics.
Lord
Heseltine,
Tory
come
MP,
on.
Lord Heseltine, Tory Grande.
Great Prime Minister.
He speaks quite a lot of sense these days when he's having a pop at all the proper right wingers.
yeah.
His nickname was Tarzan, right?
Right.
But
Go
no one called him Tarzan on the telly.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Why?
We don't
No,
commit to it.
Why did he get that nickname?
Because I think as a protest in the Commons, he ran down to the centre of the Commons and picked up the mace and started swinging it around his
class.
head.
That's
Right.
class.
But what I'm saying is we don't lean into it.
Wow.
In Brazil, they lean into it. Right?
Yeah, true.
There's no way, and I know they don't really do names in the House of Commons. They did a right honourable member for so and so, but there's no way they're calling Tarzan
Yeah.
to speak,
Why
are
did-
they?
Two Jags, get up here.
Yeah, exactly. Great one.
Paddy Ashdown. Why was he Paddy Pants down? But yeah, well, because Emi Martinez is Dibu
Right.
in Argentina, which is a cartoon character or something,
Yes.
or
So
an
yeah,
Kun
animation.
yeah.
Aguero as well.
Kun Aguero or yeah, that would be the other one. But like Dibu Martinez, that's what they call him. That's not said ironically. It's not said because he that becomes the name.
Yeah.
That's what they refer to him as.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know.
I like Wazza.
Yeah, we'll go with Wazza then.